I'm Pishdaad Modaressi Chahardehi, and I'm one of the 3 directors for the short film Payoff.
My name is Ivan Bailey Wilson. I am director, producer, cameraman, pretty much everything, along with everybody else. Share the roles out.
My name is Jordan Fry, and my role in the film is director.
My name is Nick, and I played Steve.
My name's Tom, and I played Eddie in Payoff. My name is Max Robinson, and I play the teacher in the production, which is called Mr. Anderson.
Once we got the all clear, we started just drafting some ideas.
It started off with me and Ivan. Jordan wasn't there yet, so me and Ivan sat down and we approached the script with thinking, alright, we don't have a big budget, we don't have big equipment, and we don't have a lot of actors.
Got some inspiration from things like the Oceans 11, 12, 13. A bit of my inspiration was from Breaking Bad. Our approach to the script was just write it down, write what we thought down, and then read through that again and correct anything that didn't sound quite right. And then we sort of acted it out a little bit between ourselves, see if that sounded natural, and anything that didn't sound quite right there, we changed that again. A few changes to the script. We were initially going to have a sort of a gun involved and a bit of a maybe not a shootout, but you know, a killing in a car park. But we thought we haven't really got the budget or the time for that to work.
We had a lot of input from the other students, from our media teacher Mr. Ask, from our actors. We changed halfway through production. We changed scene 4, which was supposed to take place in the corridor, but because of the sound being so bad in the corridor, because of the reverb, we changed it to a library scene.
Once we'd done scripting, it was really on to starting to make storyboards, and that's when Jordan joined the group.
I basically dropped 2 subjects. I knew Pishdaad, so I came into media and said, "Can I join the group?" And I was like, "Yeah, right." Well, to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect. I came in, read the script, and think, "Yeah, it's alright." Like, I couldn't envision actually filming in my head back then.
I think it was a very good plotline. I think it was clever in a way, because a lot of the other films required other sets and other stages. So, whereas because you also based in a school, you could do a lot of your filming in schools.
I knew straight away this was a character that I'd enjoy playing. And when I looked at the other characters and who'd been chosen for them, I realised that there was going to be a good chemistry between the characters, and everyone had played their role very well. And I knew that from day one, I realised this film would be a success.
Yeah, our story was different. I think we are the first group ever to do a fight scene or any sort of action film. The script did change a lot, obviously to fit our capabilities as filmers, and obviously because of our limited budget, that changed it quite a bit. Whilst we were in production, you know, we said to the actors, if you think something would sound better, you know, if that's the way it just sounds better, you just say that. You don't have to follow the script.
I think that the narrative is really different from previous years, taking into account that previous years were always drama. It was always someone having a hard time. It always made the audience feel for the character, but feel sad for him. It was depressed mood, dark mood. We didn't want to do that. So our approach when we were writing the script was to go completely the opposite of what has been done before. So we didn't rely just on visuals.
There was moments in it where the script was an evolving process, where because of my background as a teacher, I could say, oh, maybe that sentence would never be said, that sentence matters. But on the whole, actually, it was a very accurate and well-written script. It was the odd change of a particular word, that's all. The actual theme, the tone, and the descriptiveness of what was being said, all that was already there, and the content was fabulous. And it was a pleasure to work with a well thought out script.
We did a demo reel.
The demo reel was all about cinematography.
It's also a great thing to show to an interview at university. The channel trailer and the demo reel, I wouldn't say everyone should do it. I mean, think only people that should do it are the people who are really enthusiastic about filming and so on, and people who have, you know, luckily because we started planning so early on, even in year 12 we started planning, which is why we had a lot of spare time, and which is part of the reason why we ended up shooting the demo reel and the channel trailer. So
These two productions, the demo reel and the channel trailer, helped us a lot to get comfortable with the equipment, to get comfortable with the camera, to get comfortable with working on a short period of time and achieving a lot, which we did constantly throughout the production. I mean, our shoots were max 3 hours long, not only because light was going, the sunlight was going down, but because the school was shutting down.
our feedback from the audience now, it really helped us realise what people wanted to see from our film, and that changed it in some ways. When they click on our channel, that's the first thing they see, so we wanted to give it a good impression.
I basically had to run the Facebook page. Every video we made I had to put up on the Facebook page, and I had to put like regular updates when we're filming, when we finished, and then once the actual film was done, that went on Facebook, and it's become a massive hit. We got the first idea of props when those two women came in after they were prop designers. They made the props for Peaky Blinders, so they came in, showed us them. The props I got was like a map, which is now ripped to shreds. But we needed that map to make the office look actually geographical. I had to make the test papers, which were basically, I took an old test paper and just made it up, changed the date. Since we could have a fire scene, Pishdaad thought, yeah, we need to practice this makeup. So we got Rebecca to come in with her, and we were supposed to get either Tom or Nick, one of our actors, to come in. For some reason, Pishdaad thought it'd be a good idea to, yeah, let's do makeup on Jordan. And so I didn't get a mile in this say, and so I really had to sit there while Rebecca just put makeup on and try not to flinch while she was stuck a pencil in my eye.
Searching for locations was quite fun. We had a look around Bradford, went to my house, John's house, Pishdaad's house, to have a look at what they would look like on film.
So I found out about the project in the casting call. I was approached by Pishdaad and said he was doing a media project, and said would I be interested in auditioning for one of the parts.
I found out about the film directly from Pishdaad. He approached me saying, you know, I've heard you've done some acting in the past and I'd like you to have a go at auditioning for this project, and I loved it. I was like, you know, I was enthusiastic about getting involved.
Doing a casting call was it was a first for me. I think our group's one of the, I don't know if any other groups have done that in the past.
Obviously, I'm quite involved in the media studies department at school, which is where the students are that were making the film. And quite often I'm picked because I'm willing to give up my time. I can fit within quite a wide age bracket. You know, I can play something just about in my 20s up to play something probably in my 40s. I was approached because I fit what you wanted as a character. You know, the shape, the form, the way that I spoke, presumably was why I was approached.
We decided that Max Robinson, Tom Walker and Nick Pollard are going to be the actors because they suited the role really well.
Tell me where you got these from and get me a copy.
Why would I do that?
I thought Tom and Nick, they had very, I think they're friends, so they had good chemistry as actors.
Me and Tom have done a bit of acting together before, so we know what each other are like on stage.
When I first saw everything, how everything was set up, I was really impressed. I thought it made me more confident about the project, because I knew even though that was just an audition, it'd been set up very professionally and taken a very clean-cut approach to what was going on. There was no nonsense involved. It was going to be, you had an idea in their heads that was going to be there throughout the whole film, and I just knew it was going to be a success when I first stepped on set.
When we were told what parts we were given, signed the contract, everything else, when we were given the first date, I think it was 4 or 5 days in advance, about a week in advance.
Obviously the first day of shooting we were actually shooting one of the last scenes, so that was a bit odd seeing it out of order, but it was a lot of fun, but at the same time, you know, we had to get it done. It was unfortunate because when we started shooting it was still late winter, so the light was almost gone by 5, which means that limited how much time we could actually shoot for. But as it progressed, you know, we could shoot later on, and we were getting more efficient at it, you know, dividing up roles, you know, who's behind the camera, who's sorting out actors, who's script supervising, who's going to get the various props we would need for a scene.
Well, because I'd never been on camera before, really, acted on camera before, so there was all the lights and all the different camera setups, and it looked ridiculously professional. So at that point, when I walked into the gallery for the first time, it did make me a little bit nervous.
You know, anyone who's acting in anything, where they're giving up their time as a commitment, wants it to be quick, sharp, everyone know what they're doing, everyone's got their job role, and that's exactly what it was. It was like walking into a film factory.
Everyone was excited to start filming.
Obviously working with Tom and Nick was easy because they're very good. And so, of course, whenever you're dealing with someone, it's nice that you can communicate, you can have ideas, and you can spar off each other.
The best thing about being on set was definitely the banter we had, the cast and crew. It was just, I mean, we were all mates, so it was a good laugh. But at the end of the day, we managed to get a good quality film finished, and I think if we hadn't had that sort of friendship there, I don't think the characters would have understood each other, and the cast may not have understood the crew quite as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice hanging around with you know, younger students, you know, and seeing them in a different situation to when they normally sit in front of you in a classroom, and seeing how they interact with each other generally. There was moments where it's odd. You know, particularly when you're at a student's house, for example, and you stood in their kitchen wanting to film a scene, and you do feel as though it's a bit weird, this, I shouldn't be here, but all of the people involved in the film made it as comfortable as it was ever going to be, and I appreciated that.
Because I was doing most of the cinematography, my approach was to make it look as cinematic as possible, and to do that we used basic setups for dialogues, and added a few shots which were inspired from different movies. Biggest inspiration, Michael Bay, Zack Snyder, visually amazing directors, to make it look all cinematic, because reality isn't that exciting, and just filming reality isn't that exciting either. So you have to create a whole new world with the camera and make it believable. That's why we had so many different camera angles.
And then obviously there's the shots we didn't plan, we just sort of thought, oh, you know, this might look cool, so let's go for it and let's just do that. Rushing things is a bit annoying, because, you know, if we'd had more time, obviously it would look better. Obviously we're limited with like battery life of the camera.
The small little details were definitely worth it. So I was looking at the other films. There was there was one scene in one of the other films where it dragged out a bit, because there was just one camera angle where it was just on them for a minute or two. Whereas in your film, because it's sort of an action drama type film, there's always a lot of little quick shots, and obviously that, when you're watching a film, you don't really appreciate how long that takes, because you've only got one camera, you have to stop and start filming and stop and start filming over and over again.
And action.
It's necessary to do a lot of takes and have various camera angles, and the problem from an actor's point of view is maintaining the same level of emotion and dedication on the 20th camera angle you do on the 5th take as the first you do on the first take.
There's a lot of people that will turn around and say, oh, you don't need that shot, you don't need that shot. But the problem is, if you come to post-editing and you don't have that shot and you realise you need it, you've got to go back, you've got to set everything up exactly the same, you've got continuity issues, you've got acting issues, that someone might have had a haircut, someone might have changed the shirt, changed their suit, or something might be forgotten.
When you're acting on stage, if something goes wrong, you have to keep going because you're on stage and people are watching and you can't. But if it goes wrong on camera, you can just say cut and you can have a laugh about it.
The difference between being on stage as well, if you're on stage there's a lot of rehearsals leading up to it and then there's one final production, then it's done. With this it's constant, you're always working towards it, you're always changing things and adding things, and I think the thing that I think is most impressive about films is that it's difficult to get an idea of how it's going up until the very, very end when it all comes together.
We actually had extras on the scene on the last final day of shooting, so we had to coordinate them all and make sure they weren't staring at the camera.
Which is difficult when it may be in a place where you'd naturally look, which for me it was quite a lot.
Massively impressed by the professionalism of it. The room was sorted by the time I arrived, the extras, the props, all sorted by the time I arrived. Scripts were on hand in case we'd forgotten to bring our own. They'd been thought beforehand in the planning of what to wear, what had to look like. I was given full guidance on set as to where to sit, what angles were going to be taken from, how they wanted me to act a particular scene.
In editing, we always wanted to keep the pace really quick because we had such a short time to tell such a long story, and I think it worked because a common mistake with short films is, especially when you're a first-time director, that you keep a shot there for too long and the pacing is off, it's too slow, it's too boring. That's why we kept the pacing really quick. I think our film follows the basic media convention of an actual feature film. We have a beginning, middle bit, and an ending, which put into 20 minutes is really short time.
We broke convention with it being 20 minutes long.
Everything that was filmed and that was in the script, I think, was relevant to set the scene, set the stage, and so you'd understood what was going on. I think if you cut anything out, there would be bits that probably wouldn't make as much sense as they did.
I don't think the story would have made sense without anything that was in the film. I think short films struggle to get across a character development, and I think with a 20-minute slot it's easy to get caught up and just have a bit of action here and there and just make it entertaining rather than thought-provoking, and I think that this is where this film has succeeded. It's managed to get a thought-provoking and a story that is full of character in a short period of time.
I think all the scenes worked. There was a couple of occasions that, on reflection, watching it back now, some of those scenes could have been shorter. The one in the library, perhaps between Tom and Nick, was quite a long scene. I think the message could have been quite shorter there. Also, the fight scene in the office, although that obviously sparked a lot of action and was exciting to watch, you could have had a very short fight scene and the same message would have been applied. But they're very little tweaks, wouldn't affect the overall look of the final film.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
No problem.
So this is a short film me, John and Ivan made for our 8-2 coursework. And it took us about a year to make, and we're happy it's finished now. And I want to thank everybody who was involved, the actors, Mr. Robinson, Tom Walker, Nick Pollard, Pishdaad, and Rebecca, thank you for the makeup, and Mark, thank you for the music, and
everyone else, thank you.
yeah. So let's get started. We finally had our sort of big screening in the media room, which was pretty cool. told everybody to come. John didn't expect that.
I didn't believe Pishdaad when he said a lot of people would come. I was in the morning, how many people he said were like, oh, easily going to be a full room. I was like, no, that's never going to happen. The room was crammed full. It was like standing space only.
The younger audience looked at it in a much more fun way and saw it more as a laugh, whereas I think the older people like my parents looked at it in more of a looking at more of the technical aspect, thinking, oh yeah, I like the way how they filmed that rather than the acting. So I'd say the older people looked more at what's going on, and the younger people look more at how it's more at what's being said.
Generally, the comments on it were saying that it was actually quite good.
I was always expecting the audience to take the plot on board pretty easily, and I think they always like a twist on reality. And most of the audience, of course, were in a school surrounded by teachers, so they quite like the idea of seeing them do something that's a bit naughty, a bit wrong, you know, a bit something that they shouldn't really be thinking. It makes them realise teachers are normal people.
They said that the film was, obviously, it was very well shot, it was well made.
Obviously the audience saw some slightly mistakes, like tripping didn't look so real. Sometimes the footsteps were a bit loud, like really tiny mistakes.
When I saw it finished, I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good.
I think just because we put so much effort into it.
Regards to the swearing, there was like a mixture of people thinking it was funny and normal, but there was also people saying, yeah, it was used too much and it should have been changed here.
After speaking to people about it, I think the bad language was in a place where it needed to be. There was nothing unnecessary about it.
It is justified because it's used in content.
My wife was like, how have you found the time to do this in your busy day? You know, and I can't believe you swore, and I can't believe you're on the internet swearing.
Yeah, definitely haven't seen anything like this before.
They were sort of excited by the plot twists and things, and they really engaged with the characters, and people commenting about the personality of the characters, which is a really good feedback as an actor, because it means that personality that you were trying to get across actually succeeded.
And it does explore other areas, and I think sometimes, especially in a school production, the students almost want to get away from school life. They want to film something completely different. So you don't actually get often a lot of stories that are based in school, because everyone goes, oh, that's too easy, or when actually it's the opposite. It's quite hard sometimes to film something that's realistic in the setting that you're already in.
Before this, I would have pursued theatre acting, but now I'm considering doing it on film instead, because I think it's more fun.
I think I'd see myself acting definitely as a hobby. So at university I'd probably join with the groups there.
This whole experience, this whole year working on it, has really opened my mind and showed me what is possible to do to create something from nothing. You started off with a piece of paper and a pen, and now it's a finished 20-minute film, which is, if you really think about it, pretty amazing. Create something from nothing.
I've definitely improved my skills with, you know, Photoshop and editing and working behind a camera, how to frame a shot and plan out shooting like that.
Because this was a 20-minute film, and it's taken, from starting to write to finished products, it's taken almost a year. So with these films that are, you know, 2 hours, 2.5 hours with hundreds of cast members and everything else, it's definitely shine a light on how much effort goes into films nowadays.
If there's one complaint I had about this film, it's that the Jaffa Cakes only lasted until the 3rd week of filming. After that, there was no more Jaffa Cakes.
Don't always trust your teachers, because sometimes they might be blagging it too.
If you yourself are a director, first-time director making a short film, really make sure that you plan everything. Really make sure that, even though most of the shots we did were freestyled on the spot, make sure you plan as much as you can in advance. Know what you're doing on set. Don't waste any time. I see it too many times. People take the camera in hand and don't know what they're doing. Practice with your material first. Practice with your equipment. it will help you so much. It helped us doing that. We demoed the channel trailer. So yeah, just keep producing.
If I could give one message to anyone who's going to be doing film for media, it would be just plan and start getting on with your ideas.
Watch our film. Payoff. Watch IGP official.
Watch it, prick.
There is another dare.
We got on camera, yes.
Sick.